Welcome to Mr. Gard's maths class. We're going to be starting this new unit on measurement and introduction to Pythagoras' theorem. The very first unit within this larger unit is going to be on length and perimeter. You will note that in the top left corner of many of my lessons, there is a sticky note that includes many important words that you need to know at least by the end of this lesson. In today's lesson, they include perimeter, millimeter, centimeter, meter, and kilometer. We're going to begin today's lesson looking at converting between different unit measurements. You will see here where I am drawing these loops that at the beginning of your test that you will end up doing, or the beginning of a lesson, it can be really useful to include this very simple loop symbolism, I guess you could call it, to help you with your unit converting. The arrows point in the direction of the conversion. So if we are moving from kilometer to meter, we need to multiply by 1000. And that might seem counterintuitive as you're going from a really large kilometer to a small meter. But if we are going from 1 kilometer, we have 1000 meters in 1 kilometer. So we need to multiply the number of kilometers by 1000. The same principle applies when we convert from meters to centimeters, except this time we have 100 centimeters in a meter, and then the same from converting centimeters to millimeters, where it is multiplied by 10, as there are 10 millimeters in 1 centimeter. We can work out going back the opposite way. If we want to know how many centimeters are made up by a number of millimeters, we can divide by 10. Not sure why that went red. Divide by 100 and divide by 1000. I find that a really handy diagram to draw often at the beginning of my lessons to ensure I can not make a simple mistake when we have to convert from kilometers to centimeters or meters to centimeters or so on. Now as we move down to the bottom left corner of the screen, we're going to see a few shapes. First one is a rectangle, and the reason I've included this is questions might be how far around is this shape? That means what is the perimeter? So the perimeter means the outside of a shape. So if I said that this side was, let's say, 5 centimeters and this side was 2 centimeters, we can work this out mathematically. But first of all, we must look at a few key symbols that have been included here. You'll see in each corner we have roughly drawn little squares. They indicate that each of those corners is a right angle, and a right angle is a 90-degree angle. The size of the angles in a square. Now these lines here are telling me that this full length all the way along and this one here are matching, that they are the same. Likewise, you will notice that there is a single black line on the left and the right hand side, indicating that those sides are also matching. So if we were to work out the perimeter of this shape, the perimeter would be equal to 5 plus 5, that's for the yellow section, plus 2 plus 2 for those red sides. Thus, being equal to 14 centimeters. The next shape along is a right-angled triangle. You can tell that it's a right-angled triangle because of that little square just in here, and that both sides, well, 2 of the 3 sides, are matching, because we can tell that by those single black lines, kind of code to tell us that those 2 sides are equivalent. Moving on to this final shape. Now this shape is a little bit weird. It's not as straightforward as working out the normal perimeter of it. But I'm going to give you a little hint as to how to do it. Because we know these corners are all right angles, what we can actually do is determine the perimeter of this shape, because we know this side and this side. The perimeter is simply 7 plus 7 plus 5 plus 5. Now I'm going to tell you that now, but I'm going to show you how that is worked out. If I was to move this shape up and put it there, now note, I'm not changing the perimeter, I'm not changing any lengths, I'm just simply moving them. Don't want that one, I want that guy. I'm going to put him up there. I'll get it right. It's a little bit fiddly because it's a small unit. This side, get rid of that. Put him there. And this side I'm going to move across, and you'll see that I've now created a rectangle. I haven't increased any lengths. If we were building a fence, for example, I haven't built any extra length in fence. I can undo it and show you, and there's that shape again. Put them all back, and the perimeter hasn't changed, it has simply turned it into a rectangle. Hopefully that's given you a very quick introduction to length and perimeter. Just remember that perimeter is the outside of a shape, and you need to remember how to do those conversions, because sometimes you might be given that one length is in meters, but another side might be in centimeters. That's all for today. Thank you for listening.